So let's quickly rattle through that. We've got a letter. Tierney KEGNNI has her child, a healthy girl. She follows your advice and keeps it, but discovers the girl has strange fish-like gills. Tierney confesses with bloodshot eyes that she and the child's father may have conceived the child in the sea. Is this a sin? Not at all. It is a blessing. Give the girl to the sea. Ooh. What's up, guys? John here from the Killer Bits, and today we are visiting the Shrouded Isle by Kitfox Games. And this is it's a cult manager sim. It's a bit like a town manager sim, but the idea is you need to kill all the residents. It sounds a bit odd, but as we get into it, you'll see what I mean. Kitfox Games previously made Moon Hunters, which was, I have to admit, a little bit of a flop. It looked quite cool when I think they kickstarted it, and I was really hyped to actually check it out. It wasn't a bad game, but it kind of fell flat in a few places. What I've played of this so far, I thought, it looks a bit arty and things like that. No, I'm really hooked so far. I've played maybe an hour or so far, and it's really engaging. I mean, it's got a unique look about it, but the actual management element is, as I say, very engaging. Before we get into anything, we'll have a look at the settings. Fairly basic settings. We do have a few language options, quite a few actually, and we can actually change the colour setting. Whether this is for, people that suffer with colour blindness, I don't know, but we've got the yellow and bluish green is scorching light. We have poison ivy, which looks kind of like that, or we have the sacramental wine, which is that. I'm sticking with the kind of the default one because I quite like this yellow on bluish green type thing. And as I say, we'll get into it. So this is very kind of Lovecraftian. I think the developers have actually said it's loosely based on Lovecraft's Shadows over Innsmouth, and the whole idea is the old god Chernobog is awakening in 3 years' time. So we have to manage our village, manage sacrifices, and prepare for his awakening. And we basically have to flush out all the sinners and heretics. And the way we do that is we have, well, as you can see here, 5 households that kind of manage the island, and we oversee them as like the kind of high priest type idea. But we have to pull advisors from each household. Now, each person has their particular virtues and vices, and they affect these elements down here. So the ignorance of the village, its fervour, its discipline, its penitence, and its obedience. Now, as you'd imagine, we want to, being a management game, we want to try and keep everything balanced, not just the kind of the village temperament, but also the households. As you can see here, the KEGNNI, I think that's how it's pronounced, are dissatisfied with us. Satisfied, neutral, satisfied, neutral. So we need to keep a balance of everything. It kind of reminds me a little of Reigns. Obviously, Reigns was quite a simplified management type game using kind of the Tinder swipe mechanic, but this is a little more traditional, but as I say, very stylish and very engaging. So as it says here, we need to pick seasonal advisors. So the old god is awakening in 3 years, and we basically have to go through each season's 3 months long. So it's essentially a 12-turn game. And so far, I've only managed to make it to turn 5 without, basically, my further dropped too low for a couple of seasons, and that's it. The game is over. But you'll see as we go along. So the KEGNNI are responsible for the ignorance of the town. The advisor from House KEGNNI will oversee burning books and improving village ignorance. So we don't want the villagers to actually question anything, become enlightened, and actually seek out the truth from the outside world. So we want to keep them ignorant. And to do that, we have to pick one of the family to be our advisor on this fact. And as you can see here, each has particular kind of traits. Vadim KEGNNI is obedient, which is obviously going to affect this stat, but his vice, we don't know. It could be he knows too much, and he will actually ask questions which will reduce our ignorance, or he's obviously he's obedient there, but he could also be disobedient. I've had two that have kind of negated one another on one run. So there is an element of these virtues and vices are all kind of randomly generated. It's all kind of procedural. So each run is going to be different. So this being the kind of the enlightenment ignorance type one, we want somebody that may boost this, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. So how about Tierney? Tierney is a hemophiliac and must receive fewer lashes as a result. So can't be as penitent, but is certainly ignorant, and we can actually... Well, we can't on this one, but on some of the families we would probably be able to. The satisfied ones we would probably be able to ask the kind of patron of the family some information which will either confirm their vice or virtue. But I think we're going to pick Tierney as our advisor in that. So we can see Tierney here, the Iosfef, whatever. They're in charge of fervour. The advisors of House Isofek will oversee building monuments and improving village fervour. So again, well, this character is full of fervour, but his vice may be something different, and we can actually inquire about this. So, yeah. Neda, let's inquire about you. He's a singer. So here's, as you can see, that little file symbol next to him. He will be a definite plus 10. So it means any kind of fervour tests will kind of see a significant boost. But then again, like I said, his vice may negate that, or it may negate one of these other elements. So yeah, we'll appoint Neda. And penitence, well, as you can imagine, right, well, Casimir is definitely a penitent person, and we can actually inquire. Are they penitent? Yes, they're just, which is a plus 15. Now, the idea is, after each season, we need to sacrifice one of these advisors. So, if we end up sacrificing Casimir, his vice may be a big boost to something. So maybe has a lack of fervour or something like that. That may be like a minus 10 or something like that. If we sacrifice him, we'll get that 10 fervour back, but we will lose that plus 15 from the penitent, so we'll see a 15-point drop. So it is all about this kind of balancing out of things. And as you can see here, penitence improved by accusatory, convict, honest, just, and self-loathing. So that's why we've got the plus 15 on there. So that is quite a good one. And we are on a penitent one, so yes, we'll appoint him. I'm trying to stick to what the houses are known for. You don't necessarily have to do that. So discipline. Well, we can make an inquiry. We'll make an inquiry about somebody who's known. Danica. Danica is ignorant. Well, it's rumoured she's ignorant. We can't be sure. So there's like two states. There's, a general... They're generally ignorant. We do some more digging around. We can actually find out whether they definitely are or how strongly they are. So if that person may be childlike, dull, practical, superstitious, or uneducated. And each one of them is going to be a plus point to it. So, yeah, why not? Why not we'll bring in Danica. Her negative vice may actually be against discipline. But considering we've got no positives for discipline, we don't really know. So, what the hell? And as you can see here, we could actually rename villagers if we wanted. There we go. I'm putting myself in the family. So this one I can imagine will be quite popular with streamers. It's very kind of chilled, laid back, but the fact is you can rename all the villagers and then it's going to be very interesting who you sacrifice in the end. So the House Blackborn is in charge of obedience, and well, nobody's obviously very obedient at the moment. Hannah, we'll inquire about Hannah. She lacks fervour. Well, everybody seems to be quite lacking. What the hell? We don't really know at the moment, so we'll employ her. So that is everyone picked. Now we can actually, as you can see here in the cathedral, we have one letter. A letter has arrived. And it should highlight a bit more than that, but it obviously isn't. A letter arrives from an anonymous village elder saying Hedy, Cadwell, and the other village youth have begun to wear their clothes in a strange manner, which must be indecent. We punish the deviant behaviour. We'll encourage obedience. Ask Hedy about this new fashion, which is an unknown. Punish the disobedience! Yes. So obedience goes up, but House Cadwell's satisfaction goes down, their approval. And they're neutral at the moment, so it's only a -7, which isn't too bad. Neutral is anywhere between like -10 and +10. So that's fine. We'll begin the season. So now we need to pick somebody to begin the month. And who's lowest? Penitence is lowest at the moment. So we can pick 1 to 3 advisors, as you can see here. If we pick 1, that's going to be a big boost, but if we spread it out, it's going to be smaller boosts. So yeah, let's go penitence and fervor. So that's fairly balanced, and in doing this, we will see how strong they are at actually doing their job, and get a hint maybe at their negative traits. So let's begin the month. Average outcome. Ned urges labourers in carving and sanding, and a small shrine to our god is crafted. +5 fervour. Ned creates a special chorus to sing our Lord's hymns. So we get another +5 fervour. Now, I wasn't paying attention. I didn't see if any of these went down, and we haven't got a clue. Ned's behaviour had an unknown impact on our community. Is obedience slightly lower? Maybe he's disobedient in some way. Okay, right, so let's bear that in mind. Like, let's keep an eye on the bottom bars. Right. Penitence. No. Oh, fervour. Fervour's gone down. So we can see Casimir's dutiful whipped the sinful, adhering to the rites of penitence, +5. Many villagers come to seek Casimir's counsel, +7. And fervour went down a little bit. It's rumoured to be lacking fervour. So that's just lacking fervour is kind of, I'd say a -5, maybe -10. And unless he's kind of rebellious or something like that. So now we get to see, obviously we use these two families, so their satisfaction has gone up. Now, next time it might be worth doing something with the KEGNNIs, just to boost up our standing with the family. So, yes, let's actually do that. So, next month, let's burn some books. And we'll just burn books. We'll just kind of focus everything on that, just to see if we can boost up the family. So, let's begin the month. Ooh! She's very unrepentant. That's very clear. I mean, it's not saying it there, but the fact that we saw the penitence bar shoot down is obvious. She's very unrepentant. But we have a huge boost to our ignorance. Our ignorance is almost topped out, in fact. So next result, and we should see that climb. There we go. We've gone into neutral territory. So we need some penitence, don't we? The penitent man is humble before God. So let's flagellate some sinners. And can we reduce the fervour? How about we balance that out with actually bringing in the fervour? Though we don't know what his negative is going to be. We'll find out. So here, special chorus. It's definitely, it must be obedience. Obedience is dropping. Penitence, penitence. Fervour drops. And we've got loss of satisfaction. So now we get to decide who is sacrificed. So, well, we know they're just, but they're gentle as well. That minor vice. So, like I said, we'll lose 15 off our penitence, but we'll gain a big 20 plus on fervour. So, as you can see here, uncertain virtue, villagers who trust Tierney's reputation will feel conflicted and lose ignorance, which we can maybe afford. But there's an uncertain vice about her penitence, which we'll get a boost on. I think, unless we can gain obedience from one of these guys, I think that might be worth it. Lose fervour, gain obedience. Lose discipline. No, gain discipline, lose ignorance. As you can see there, a huge drop in penitence, but a slight gain of fervour. And be rebellious. Oh, right, the family. If we sacrifice that one, that the family become rebellious. Yeah. So, I think we're going to go with this, because this is probably one of the families that are most... Well, they're classed as neutral there. Is it because they're satisfied? I think it's that family's satisfied. So if we sacrifice them, we'll lose a bit of fervour, but we'll be in positive territory with the obedience. So, bring on the sacrifice! Yes, we get a big splash of claret all across the screen. Through sacrifice thy will be done. We sacrifice the life of Nedda in the name of Chernobog and the good of our people. Our condolences to whatever it is. And just sacrifice House Seth is outraged by your actions. We've lost 50 approval with them, but we gained 5 with the other houses. And we've gained +5 obedience and -10 fervour. So, the night before the new season, a whisper caresses your dream. My faithful servant, I await your devotion. Encourage ignorance, purity of mind and soul. The swindler, give her to me. So we need to find the swindler. Okay. We have a letter. Tierney KEGNNI arrives, her belly swollen with child. She is worried the child may turn out like her, with all her sins and flaws. And what's your advice? Give the child to the vicar to raise. All parents are sinners, still we serve. Ask if she has something in particular to repent. Do we need the discipline? Not particularly. The housemate. I think if we try and boost our standing with the house, they're satisfied already though. How about we go unknown? Tierney is too embarrassed to speak about it, but hurries to the confessional afterwards. Perhaps others will learn from her regrets. +2 to penitence. Okay. +10 to penitence even. Okay, right, so new season, new challenges. So everyone is fairly balanced. Our goal is to try and raise ignorance. That is what the gods want us to do. So let's see what we can do about that. We do have an inquiry here, so how about seeing what Sagan? Inquire about Sagan. Knows too much. Well, we don't want to bring him out then. Knows too much is definitely going to be like a -10, maybe -15 to our ignorance. So we don't want a disobedient. Obedience is quite low. Let's bring out Vadim. Appoint Vadim. Yeah. Now these guys are. Now we'll definitely lose the family if we sacrifice somebody else from this one. So we're going to err on the side of caution. We want somebody who's going to boost our fervor. So it's definitely going to not be one of these guys. Obedience is quite like. Let's see what Carol is like. Let's inquire about Carol. Unrepentant. We've got a little bit of buffer with penitence. So let's appoint Carol. Now we know they're just and gentle. We can't take a big hit on penitence, but that would give us a huge boost on fervor. So this is where the kind of the planning comes in. Maybe if we bring them out, use them once and then do lots to boost our fervor. Let's inquire about somebody else in the family. Valen. Undisciplined. Oh no, they are disciplined. I'm going to take a gamble. Like I said, if we lose it, get rid of a heretic at -20, that's quite good, really. It's just that the +15 is... Yeah. I'm going to take a gamble on Nadej. Okay. And... Right, this is House Cadwell. They are disciplined. Discipline, not too bad. Again, we're trying to boost fervor. Full of fervor. Let's inquire. Unrepentant. Penitence again. I think we can do that. So this is where we start planning. Let's see if we can keep everything balanced. And... let's inquire about... No, we can't inquire this time. Okay, well, I'm going to take a gamble on Chessa. Okay, let's begin the season. So we want fervor. So let's do you guys. Let's find out what goes on. Carol has urged the labourers in carving and sanding. So we got a +5, plus something in obedience, and we lost some penitence, right? -2 discipline. Poor outcome. So virtue +5 fervor, and we lost some penitence. But at least we're keeping our head above water with that. Neutral, neutral, satisfied. Okay, dissatisfied. We may need to bring up these two houses. Ooh, penitence. Big drop there. So let's do these guys. Go on, begin the month. So, +6, +7 to obedience. Ooh. And did we see anything drop in particular? I can't say I did. They're unquestioning a +15. That's quite good. +5. Knows too much there. That means they're going to reduce our ignorance. But dealing with those two houses, at least we should get them into both neutral territory. Slightly dissatisfied. Okay. Right. Unrepentant. So, if we bring him out, he's going to do a negative 20. Wasn't it? Unrepentant was... Or was that the negative 20? That was obedient negative... Well, let's do some flagellating. We need to find out some more information about her. And we still need to bring up their satisfaction. We can afford the ignorance, I think. Let's try. Oh, no, that was very bad. So, they're very unrepentant. Okay. So we've got +5, plus something on fervour, and we've lost some. Okay. So, where are we at? Neutral, neutral, satisfied, neutral. Well, I've got a feeling you may be on the way out. Time to pick somebody. So you can see how the game progresses. So, if we sacrifice this person, we're definitely going to lose +10 points on the fervour. I think... So we're going to get a bit of penitence back. We'll lose fervour, which we can probably afford. And we'll remain neutral with the family. So yes, they're on the way out. All hail Chernobog! So, like I said, you can see how it progresses, and like I said, it's like a 12-turn game. So we got +5 penitence and lost 10 fervour. And we roll into autumn. There are fewer and fewer confessions made. I must encourage penitence. So this is basically saying we have one turn to bring that up into, positive territory. If we don't, we've lost the game. So let's quickly rattle through that. We've got a letter. KEGNNI has her child, a healthy girl. She follows your advice and keeps it, but discovers the girl has strange fish-like gills. KEGNNI confesses with bloodshot eyes that she and the child's father may have conceived the child in the sea. Is this a sin? Not at all. It is a blessing. Give the girl to the sea. Ooh. Well, we're neutral with the KEGNNIs. I'm going to see what the mystery is. We get +10 fervour. KEGNNI takes the child to the ocean. She says the infant swam quickly away before sinking. Some villagers call her Sea Mother in admiration. She's Mother of Seas. No. Okay. So let's... Villagers are too many bellies to fill. Right, okay. We need to bring up penitence. We need to find somebody who is willing to whip everybody into shape. Let's inquire about Maria. Ignorant. Well, we need that for this family, so let's appoint them. We got a penitent man here. Let's inquire about Gwendolyn. Undisciplined. Well, discipline we can afford, yes. And have we got penitence? It's this one again, isn't it? Casimir. Plus, as long as we can keep the further up, we can inquiry on you. A -20 flirt, okay. We can afford the flirt, I think. We can inquire. Let's inquire about... Well, this is Discipline House. Heady. Disobedient. Obedience we can afford. We need the penitence. Boosting. We'll do that. And we've got another inquiry. Curious. I'd take a lack of discipline or a lack of obedience, really, than losing any more ignorance. Let's inquire about Bogdan. Knows too much. Okay. Well, we definitely don't want unrepentance. We'll have a lacking fervour person. Okay. Let us begin the season. Right. So, let's bring up the penitents. We're going to lose a lot of fervour. So, let's neutralise that a little by that. So we've got plus 5 fervour. We get plus something penitence, and we lose a little bit of discipline. Right. Plus 5, plus 7, and minus 10 fervour. Well, I mean, those two balance out that, really. And we're back into... We're pretty much neutral across the board. Let's do some ignorance and more penitence. Because I think this one... Yeah, let's go ignorance and more penitence. So we got plus 6. Plus something. And we lose some obedience. Okay, like I said, obedience is something we can afford to lose. Minus 2, always a poor outcome. But we got plus 7. So we've got like a plus 5 on penitence and lose 10. But at least we're in that neutral, above neutral territory. And I think this was the family we sacrificed last time. So we could do with a big boost in fervour, say. Or at least try and get somebody quite high up so that when we sacrifice the family. Undisciplined. Yes, we're going to go all out on that person. Discipline drops significantly. Lots of fervour, a little bit of penitence, and discipline is reduced. But we should get a big boost from them. So the adjudicator Osefek is on their way out. So we've already more or less picked who we're going to go for. But we can have a look. Raise, drop. Okay. Oh, that will drop discipline. Oh no, that's raising discipline. Yeah. As I said, that's the one we're probably going to go for. They will become rebellious. No, we don't want that. We'll be outraged since they were selected last season. No, we don't want that. And we'll be outraged. They'll be rebellious as well. So, like I said, we've more or less picked what we were going to do. So, we'll go into neutral territory with that family. We'll lose a bit and gain a bit. And this is how the game plays. So, this is Shrouded Isle. Out now on PC. I will leave a link in the description below so you can check it out for yourself. The winter is coming. Yes. Oh, and we've got another letter. As the baby returned back to shore, Tierney has begun living apart from House KEGNNI, dwelling on the cliffs and embracing her new title as Sea Mother. Many are beginning to seek her advice over yours. In spiritual matters especially, she seems to be mostly advise questionable usage of ocean water. Forbid the title will gain obedience. Ask KEGNNI to interfere. Ask Tierney to stop this madness. There's nothing that will kind of boost the satisfaction of the CADWELLs. We're alright for obedience. We're going to go for the mystery question one again. Plus 10 fervour. And Tierney's trait is no longer superstitious and is rumoured to be charismatic. So that would be big boosts on fervour. That's alright then. So yeah, if you want to know more information, I will leave a link in the description below. And if you've enjoyed this little first impressions, this one I'm going to carry on with. I don't know if I'm going to manage to make it to, year 3. But I'm certainly going to try. There is definitely a lot of strategy involved. And it is all about trying to keep everyone balanced. Obviously, we got this kind of mini mission to try and raise ignorance. I presume if we can get it all the way to the top, we'll get some sort of bonus. Unquestioning, plus 15. But what was their negative? They were reducing obedience or discipline, weren't they, or something? Let's inquire about... I want to inquire. Knows too much. So this is one of those things. They're unquestioning, which raises their obedience, but they know too much, which will reduce their ignorance. So that's not really good for this side of the family. Ignorant, disobedient. It might be worth trying to seek out somebody who's our sacrificial lamb this time. Certainly not this family. Probably not this one either, though that minus 20 is still quite good. Minus 10. Let's inquire about one of these guys. Let's inquire about... Hannah. Disciplined, okay. And... no, we can't inquire about anyone. Ooh, let's... This is the discipline house. Let's appoint Milo. So yeah, I'm kind of hooked with this. This is one of those that is intriguing me. How far you can go. It's a very, very simple conceit, but it's all in the execution and trying to get that balance right. Like I said, I can imagine it will be a good one for streamers, because we get to rename... You can literally rename everyone, and then you can basically kill off your entire audience if you want. But it's going to be good to kind of see what kind of stories we create for these people. I'm bringing out Vadim. I'm going to keep somebody around. We need to find out... We'll begin the inquiry on you. Undisciplined. This is a further household. Lacking further, but reasonably high. Miri, yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'm hooked in this, and like I said, if you enjoyed the video, know what to do. Hit that like button, and if you want to get in touch, you can do in the comments below, or on any of the socials over at the Kilobits. Undisciplined. We need to raise discipline. And we're going to appoint Hannah. Let the season commence. Alright. Well, until next time, guys, I will catch you later. And begin the book burnings. Linguist? No. Sorry, you're on your way out. We've picked our sacrifice already.